Okay, this is the Salina City Commission regular meeting, June 11th, 2018, 4 p.m. We'll have a call. This is the call to order, and we'll have a roll call.
Mayor Ryan.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Hay.
Here.
Commissioner Hodges. Here. Commissioner Hoppick.
Here.
Would you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Awards and proclamations. I believe we have none. Citizens Forum. Is there anyone that would like to address the commission under the Citizens Forum?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Wayne Nelson, State President of the Kansas Society of Professional Engineers. This past week, KSPE held our annual conference in Manhattan, Kansas. As part of the conference, we celebrate excellence in teaching and engineering performance. Our society is composed of 7 chapters and covers the entire state. Each chapter may recognize achievement at the local level and then submit the chapter winners to the State Awards Committee for consideration of a state award. Well, it is my pleasure to inform you that Jim Kowach, the City of Salina's Public Works Director, was named as the 2017-2018 Government Engineer of the Year. Jim joined City Engineer Dan Stack, 2016-2017, and Wayne Nelson, 2015-2016, as Smoky Valley Chapter winners of the Government Engineer of the Year, and Wayne Nelson as a state winner. So, with that, Mr. Kowach.
Well, if you can do that in as short a time as you've had here, then we have great expectations for the future. Thank you. Congratulations. Any other public hearing items? We'll move on to the consent, public hearings and items scheduled for a certain time. We have none. The consent agenda.
Item 6.1, approve the minutes of June 4th, 2018. Item 6.2, award bid for the replacement of Fire Station Number 2 heating system to Superior Plumbing in the amount of $23,620. And item 6.3, award contract for 2018 bridge painting, project number 80005 to Lindner Painting of Lincoln, Nebraska, in the amount of $82,400. with a 5% construction contingency of $4,120.
Are there any items that any commissioner would like to remove from the consent agenda? There being none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 3 consent agenda items. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda passes. We'll move on to administration 7.1.
Item 7.1, second reading ordinance number 18-10938, amending Article 11 off-street parking and loading, Division 2 of the Salina zoning ordinance by amending Section 42-552E6 computation to clarify how the required number of off-street parking spaces for a building or parcel of land is calculated.
Since first reading, there has been no additional comments. Is there any additional input from the staff or discussion on this item? Is there a motion to approve on second reading?
Mr. Mayor, move on approval on second reading ordinance number 18-10938.
Second.
We'll have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Hay.
Aye.
Commissioner Hodges.
Aye.
Commissioner Hoppick.
Aye.
Mayor Ryan.
Aye. That passes 5-0. 7.2.
Item 7.2, second reading ordinance number 18-10939, amending Article 14 definitions of the Salina zoning ordinance to eliminate terms and definitions that could potentially conflict with the terms and definitions and the recently adopted floodplain regulations of the Salina zoning ordinance.
Since first reading, there's been no additional comment or communications. Is there anybody that wants to address this item? Is there a motion for the approval for this ordinance?
Mayor Ryan, I move that we approve on second reading ordinance number 18-10939.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Hay?
Aye.
Commissioner Hodges?
Aye.
Commissioner Hoppick?
Aye.
Mayor Ryan?
Aye. That item passes 5-0. 7-3.
Item 7.3, second reading ordinance number 18-10940, changing the zoning district classification from C5 service commercial and R1 single family residential to PC3 planned shopping center district on property addressed as 902, 908, 916, 1000, 1004 East Crawford Street, 719 Lewis Street, and 714 South Ohio Street, and requesting concurrent approval of a final site plan development plan for a proposed Mocha's Coffee and Bistro restaurant with a drive-up window at 902 and 908 East Crawford Street.
Since first reading, we've had no additional input or communications. Is there anybody from the public that would like to address this item? There being none, we'll bring it back here for action. Is there a motion for approval?
Yes, Mayor Ryan, move approval on second reading ordinance number 18-10940.
Second. Been moved and seconded. Is there a roll call, please?
Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Hay?
Aye.
Commissioner Hodges?
Nay.
Commissioner Hoppick?
Aye.
Mayor Ryan?
Aye. That item passes 4-1. 7.4.
Item 7.4, second reading ordinance number 18-10941, amending Chapter 8, Article 1, Division 4 of the Salina Code by adding Section 8-1-3-111.14.2.1 to add an amendment for arc-resistant jacketed CSST from additional electrical bonding requirements.
Also, I have no additional correspondence or input. Is there anybody from the public that'd like to address this item? There being none, we'll bring it back to the commission. Is there a motion for approval?
Mayor Ryan, I would move that we approve on second reading ordinance number 18-10941.
Second. Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Hay?
Aye.
Commissioner Hodges?
Aye.
Commissioner Hoppick?
Aye.
Mayor Ryan?
Aye. Passes 5-0. 7.5.
Item 7.5, second reading ordinance number 18-10942, amending Chapter 8, Article 1, Division 3 of the Salina Code by adding Section 8-1-3-1210.15.2.1 to add an amendment for arc-resistant jacketed CSST from additional electrical bonding requirements.
Also, no additional input since first reading. Is there any additional comment from the public? Bring it back here to the commission for action.
Mayor Ryan, I move that we approve on second reading ordinance number 18-10942.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call for this item, please.
Commissioner Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Hay?
Aye.
Commissioner Hodges?
Aye.
Commissioner Hoppick?
Aye.
Mayor Ryan?
Aye. That passes 5-0 as well. Not having any development business, we'll move on to other business. Are there any comments, other business, before we consider executive session?
Mayor Ryan, I have just a few things that I would like to address quickly. First of all, following up on the query last week from Valerie Linenberger regarding our busking ordinance, which is basically people being able to perform music with containers adjacent to accept donations. Followed up with Mr. Bankston, and he did have some information for us on that. Or Mr. Gage, but it appears that we can busk
Yes.
with limitations.
After I looked that up and understood, as you've defined it correctly, certainly looked at our code provisions, but more importantly, consulted with City Prosecutor Christina Trocheck. As you might imagine, when it comes to potential prosecution or a question of whether there's a violation of city code, her opinion is far more important than mine. But took a look at our public offense code, which you might recall the city has adopted fairly recently. There is no general prohibition against that sort of activity. It becomes more a matter of, we do have code provisions that relate to the manner in which that might occur or the location in which that might occur. Under Section 25142, we do have a very specific prohibitions against aggressive soliciting. So if that activity would potentially translate into meeting those elements, there could be a problem there. Although Ms. Trocheck acknowledged that we have not had any prosecutions of that type of violation for the extent of her tenure, so that's certainly not been a problem. Also, 25-162 addresses obstructing ingress and egress, and as you might imagine, there are certain locations in the public right-of-way where it, to the extent it might obstruct whatever is generally to occur in that segment of the public right-of-way, there are limitations or prohibitions against conducting certain activities that would obstruct that right-of-way. So generally, not a prohibition. The caveat being there are certain restrictions relating to manner and location that one would need to be aware of and abide by.
Thank you. So I really appreciate you following up on that so quickly, and thank you for that. And I know that Ms. Linenberger will be encouraged to know that there's the possibility to go ahead and have the festival that she was working on putting together. The second thing is, I was wondering if my fellow commissioners, especially given the attendance at today's study sessions, would be open toward exploring whether or not it's a possibility to televise our study sessions. Something that I've come to realize is we get a lot of good information and learn a lot of new things in study sessions, and sometimes by the time something actually gets to us here at the dais level, we've received a lot of background information on that, but a lot of times members of the public hadn't. And I just wanted to get a sense from you all whether or not that's something that you would be interested in, if it was a possibility for Salina Media Connection to do that. To see if anybody else saw the value in being able to share that information with the public.
I'm open to it if the logistics don't get in the way. Does Access Television have room for us to put ourselves on there? Is there a cost involved?
I don't know. I'll have to look at our agreement with them to see. We haven't looked at that in a little while. My recollection is that we do kind of outline the types of things that are they're the services they're supposed to provide to us, that really are in exchange for us providing a certain fee over to them for services. I don't know if that's in there or not. It might be in some form. I can take a look and see. Even if it isn't, it's still a legitimate request with regards to that logistic. And timing-wise, I mean, it does usually fit up with a typical meeting. It's just getting here a little earlier than 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts from any of the other commissioners?
Yeah, I don't have any problem. I guess the only thing is there's some people would more open to talking in a study session they are in front of the camera, so that would be the only thing. I don't know if that would deter anybody. That's just some people. That would be the only issue I would.
In fact, the last 15 minutes of that, the open session, several folks will come to that specifically because they're not going to be on camera. So I don't know if.
Well, I would think that would be something that we could.
Turn cameras off the last 15 minutes? Or,
right.
And do you envision in this room or in the smaller conference room?
I would think that would depend largely upon what works best for Salina Media.
You have to do it here. He's pointing.
Yeah. I'm looking to the guy in the booth, so it looks like so he's saying right here.
It would have to be in this room for the logistic. It would be really difficult to try to do a remote setup for that. And once you do it, I think you're there. I think once you create an expectation of that, you don't want to pull that back.
Yeah, I don't think you could do part of the meeting and part of it not, so.
Yeah, something to think about.
yeah.
We might visit with other citizens and get some input from them as to whether or not they'd think that that would be valuable to them to stay informed. It was something that I did ask on social media, and that was pretty overwhelmingly, well, actually, everyone said, sure, we'd really appreciate being able to see that, but, you know, might be worth at least kicking that ball down the
Yeah, let
field a little bit.
Jason,
and-
check with
Yeah.
the Access TV and see what
Yeah,
their
yeah.
schedule is.
And then the one other thing was, and my phone is rebooting even as we speak, but we had received an email last week from Mr. Gage regarding timing of the commencement of construction for the alley. And we had received some correspondence from Catherine DeSocio as president of FIB LLC, listing some rationale why they hadn't been able to get started with the groundbreaking. And Mr. Gage had asked us, you know, how we would like to respond, or if we would want to respond to their letter. And I had asked Mr. Gage about, you know, what the appropriate venue was to bring that up, and he indicated other business would probably be the way to go. So I didn't know if there was any feeling that we should at least formally acknowledge that we had received their correspondence and proceed from there, or if there was any other response, or even any response at all, that my fellow governing body members would want to make at this point.
I don't know why we'd need to respond. I'm satisfied with the response they gave. If they start to hit the timelines, the 90 days.
Did you have response to Ms. DeSocio when she sent the letter? I'm taking it you had conversation with her?
Yeah, I indicated that I would forward that on to you, and showed my appreciation for her providing that.
What is the timeline when they have to have the alley done according to the agreement?
The final completion, I'll have to look, Mike, I don't have that in the back of my head.
Because I think the two other projects they addressed were 8.5 months to complete, correct? If I remember right.
Yeah, I want to say it's mid-July, but it's mid-July or beginning of August.
We've got the transfer here. We
And I
can
knew
look it
that
up.
off the top of my head last week, but it doesn't come to me at the moment.
There you go.
Is when it's to proceed or be completed by July of 2019?
Complete July 31st of 2019.
Okay.
Our streetscape was contingent upon them being complete, so we synced up our schedule with theirs.
That's correct.
Anything else on that?
And then the final thing is, I just wanted to call out all of the Smoky Hill River Festival volunteers, the artists, the musicians, and the visitors that attended the Smoky Hill River Festival last week and weekend, and also to give a special and heartfelt thanks to city workers who make that all possible. Arts and Humanities did a great job, as usual, and Public Works and the Parks Department did their usual excellent job, too. So thanks to all the city workers that make it happen, and thanks to all the other people that make it happen as well.
And the handbucks who picked up that stinky trash.
Or make their children do it.
Yeah.
Right, so it's great.
We're not going to mention any names, are we, Mike?
Some children
Too
look
late.
forward to helping with that.
Some kids aren't old enough to drive, so.
All right. Do we have a request for executive session?
Commissioners, real quick on that, I want to hit a logistic, because you have 3 motions in front of you for that. You will need to address one at a time, where you'd make a motion, go in, complete that, come back out, make a motion for the next one, and then so forth. And with that in mind, I think if we could start with the second one first, that would be great, and then we'll fall back in order.
So we'll go 2, 1, 3. Okay, how long for the first one we're going to address?
I think we can do that in 5 minutes.
And will any of these result in action when we come back?
No, that's a good point. None of these, we don't expect any of these to result in any form of action. So for the benefit of the media or anyone else that is here or is interested in the items, we do not expect you to come out and take action on any of those.
Okay, thank you.
What do you say we make it 7 minutes so we're done right at 4:30? How's that? Commissioner Ryan, or Mayor Ryan, I move the City Commission recess into executive session for 7 minutes to discuss the potential acquisition of specific real estate, the identification of which would be contrary to the public interest, based upon the need for the preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property pursuant to KSA 75-4319B6. The open meeting will resume in this room at 4:30.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll be in executive session.